What's the secret behind engines that make it to 300,000 miles without catastrophic failure? Is it premium oil, special additives, meticulous maintenance schedules? Here's what's going to surprise you after 20 years of tearing down high-mileage engines and analyzing what actually keeps them alive. The secret is almost boring. It's lazy. It's consistent. It's the opposite of complicated. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what separates engines that die at 150,000 miles from engines that keep running strong at 300,000. And I'm going to warn you about the one thing that kills engines faster than anything else. Let's get into it. First, let me be clear about what I mean by the lazy secret. I've torn down thousands of engines over 2 decades. I've seen engines with 300,000 miles that look like they have 80,000. I've also seen engines with 120,000 miles that are essentially done. The difference isn't complicated. It's not about buying expensive synthetic oil or using boutique additives or following some secret maintenance ritual. The difference is consistency. Pure, boring, lazy consistency. The engines that make it to 300,000 miles aren't driven by people doing anything special. They're driven by people doing the same basic thing over and over and over. They change their oil. They don't skip it. They do it on schedule. They fix problems when they show up instead of ignoring them. They don't drive the car into the ground and hope for the best. That's it. That's the secret. Let me give you specific examples because this is where it gets real. I had a customer with a 2005 Honda Civic with 312,000 miles on the original engine. Not rebuilt, not overhauled, not babied. Driven hard, commuted in, used for work. When I pulled the valve cover, the engine was clean. The cam lobes looked good. Bearing surfaces were within spec. The guy changed his oil every 5,000 miles. That's it. No synthetic, no special additives, no premium everything. Regular conventional oil, regular filter, regular schedule. He also fixed things when they broke instead of ignoring them. A water pump went out at 180,000 miles. He replaced it. The alternator started giving problems at 220,000. He replaced it. Small problems before they cascaded into big ones. Compare that to a 2006 Toyota Camry. I worked on with 145,000 miles that needed an engine rebuild. The owner changed his oil maybe every 10,000 to 12,000 miles when he remembered. He ignored the check engine light for 8 months. When the transmission started slipping, he ignored that too. When the oil pressure warning light came on, he turned up the radio. The engine finally seized because he ran it low on oil for weeks. The Civic went 300,000 miles. The Camry didn't make it to 150,000. Same manufacturer quality. Different outcome. Here's what consistency actually means. It means you decide on an oil change interval and you do it. Every single time. Whether it's 5,000 miles, 7,500 miles, or 10,000 miles depending on your car and your conditions. You pick one and you stick with it. You don't sometimes do 5,000 and sometimes skip to 8,000. You don't think, I'll change it when I remember. You set a calendar reminder, or you track your mileage, or you write it down somewhere. You do it consistently. It means you listen to your car. When something sounds different, you pay attention. When a warning light comes on, you don't ignore it. You get it checked. Most warning lights aren't catastrophic. They're telling you something is slightly wrong that you can fix before it becomes very wrong. But people ignore them. They ignore the check engine light for months. They ignore the oil pressure light, thinking it'll go away. And then suddenly the engine is dead. And they're surprised. It means you don't drive the car like you hate it. You don't bounce it off the red line constantly. You don't drive with the check engine light on for 10,000 miles. You don't tow beyond the vehicle's rating just because you can. You don't ignore strange noises thinking they'll fix themselves. They don't. They get worse. The lazy secret is that you're lazy about ignoring problems, not lazy about maintaining the car. Let me show you what kills engines fast. And this is critical. The #1 killer of high-mileage engines isn't lack of oil changes. It's ignoring problems until they cascade. A small water leak, ignored for weeks, becomes a blown head gasket. A hesitation on cold starts. Ignored becomes a bad thermostat that causes overheating. An oil pressure light ignored becomes bearing damage. Spark knock ignored becomes valve damage. People ignore one small problem. It causes a second problem, which causes a third problem. And suddenly an engine that could have gone another 150,000 miles is done. I had another customer with a 2003 Ford F150 with 287,000 miles. The engine was strong, no knocks, no leaks, ran great. How? He changed his oil religiously, every 5,000 miles with conventional motorcraft oil. When the thermostat started sticking at 160,000 miles, he replaced it immediately. When the alternator showed signs of strain at 210,000, he replaced it before it died. When a spark plug started misfiring at 240,000, he replaced all four. Small problems addressed immediately. The truck is still running. I've seen people with the same truck and engine with half the miles and twice the problems because they ignored little issues until they became big ones. Here's the practical reality. The best oil for long engine life is the oil you change on schedule. Seriously. A conventional oil changed every 5,000 miles will protect an engine better than a premium synthetic changed every 12,000 miles if the owner is lazy about the synthetic change schedule. Consistency beats brand. A Toyota owner who changes Valvoline every 5,000 miles will get longer engine life than an owner who uses the best soil on earth but changes it whenever he remembers, or stretches intervals, or forgets. The lazy secret isn't about buying the best stuff, it's about doing the basic stuff consistently. That's boring. That's not exciting to talk about. Nobody makes videos about it because there's nothing glamorous about consistency. But every single time I've torn down a 300,000-mile engine, the owner was boring. Consistently boring, change oil on schedule, fix problems immediately. Don't ignore warning lights. That's the secret. Now let me tell you what the right interval actually is for your car. And this matters because inconsistency is worse than a longer interval done consistently. Check your owner's manual. It tells you the recommended interval for your specific car under your specific driving conditions. If it says 5,000 miles, do 5,000 miles. If it says 10,000 miles, do 10,000 miles. If it says every 6 months or annually, do that. Whatever it says, write it down, put it in your phone. Make it a routine you don't think about. Here's where people mess up. They read something online about extended drain intervals or see an advertisement for premium oil that claims to go longer, and they stretch their interval. They start changing at 7,500 instead of 5,000, then at 10,000. Then they forget and it goes 12,000. Now they're operating outside the parameters their engine was designed for. That's not laziness in a good way. That's negligence. The other thing the 300,000-mile engines have in common is that they don't get ignored for mechanical problems. A small oil leak isn't ignored for 3 months. It's fixed immediately. A grinding noise isn't tolerated. A rough idle isn't lived with. These are signals something is slightly wrong. Fix it while it's small. Don't let small problems become big ones. I had a customer ignore a water leak for 8 weeks. It was small. She could only see it if she crawled under the car. But it was water leaking from the radiator. She didn't get it fixed immediately. That water leak became a coolant issue. Low coolant went undetected for another few weeks. That led to overheating while she was driving on the highway. The engine got too hot. The head gasket blew. A $200 radiator leak became a $2,000 engine repair because she was lazy about fixing the problem quickly. Compare that to the guy with the Civic. When he noticed a coolant drip, he got under there immediately. It was the radiator cap, 30-second replacement. No problem. Because he didn't let it sit and develop into something worse. This is the boring truth about 300,000-mile engines. There's no magic. There's no secret additive. There's no special procedure. It's just consistency. Oil changes on schedule. Filters changed. Coolant topped off. Spark plugs replaced when due. Drive belts inspected and replaced before they break. Transmission fluid maintained. Brake fluid bled. These aren't complicated tasks. Most of them aren't even expensive. But here's what's shocking. Most people don't do them consistently. They skip an oil change. They ignore the check engine light for months. They drive until the car breaks and then they're surprised. They blame the manufacturer or the design. But the manufacturer's design expected you to do basic maintenance on schedule. If you don't, the car fails. That's not the car's fault. That's yours. Let me give you the maintenance formula that keeps engines alive. Do what the owner's manual says. Do it consistently. Fix problems when they're small. Replace wear items before they fail. Use decent oil. It doesn't have to be premium. It just has to be decent and changed on schedule. Drive reasonably. Don't abuse the engine. That's it. That's the whole formula. The cars I've seen make it to 300,000 miles weren't special. They weren't treated like museum pieces. They were regular cars with regular owners who did regular maintenance on schedule. No drama, no excitement, just consistency. Here's what I'm going to tell you to do right now. Go get your owner's manual. Find the maintenance schedule. Write down what your car needs and when it needs it. Oil changes, mark them. Spark plugs, mark when they're due. Brake fluid, mark it. Transmission fluid, mark it. Coolant flush, mark it. Now put those dates in your phone as reminders. When the reminder pops up, do the service, not later. Not next week, when it's due. That boring consistency is what makes engines last. And here's the critical part: when something feels wrong, sounds wrong, or looks wrong, get it checked immediately. Don't wait. Don't hope it fixes itself. Spend $100 getting it diagnosed now instead of spending $2,000 fixing it later when it cascades into something catastrophic. The lazy secret behind 300,000-mile engines isn't lazy at all. It's disciplined. It's consistent. It's boring. It's the opposite of exciting. But it works. Every single time. The engines I've seen reach extreme mileage all share one characteristic. The owner was boring and consistent. They didn't get fancy. They didn't skip maintenance. They didn't ignore problems. They just did the basic stuff, on schedule, without exception. If you want your engine to make it to 300,000 miles, that's the formula. Not expensive, not complicated, just consistent. What's your maintenance routine like? Are you consistent with your oil changes, or do you tend to stretch intervals? Drop a comment with what you're currently driving and how you maintain it. I want to hear from people who have actually made it to high mileage with their cars. What did you do that kept your engine alive? And if this clear-headed take on long engine life actually helps you understand what matters, hit that like button. Next week, I'm breaking down the most expensive maintenance mistake people make on their cars. Something they think is helping, but actually accelerates wear. You don't want to miss that one. If you're not subscribed, hit that button now. Drop a comment. I respond to everyone. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.